us.
We're taking a break. When we come back, we will talk to Baylor coach Scott Drew, who has presided over the remarkable turnaround of the Baylor basketball program. Just 5 years ago, the Baylor University men's basketball program was devastated by a scandal which saw one of its players murder a teammate. The coach was fired, and the program faced major penalties. Scott Drew took over as head coach shortly thereafter and now has Baylor back in the NCAA tournament. And Scott, there's only one question we can possibly start with. Why would you take this job?
Well, maybe the Drew family loves a challenge, but on a serious note, always pray about something like this, and I really felt led to be there, and Baylor has so many great things to offer, and it's great to now make sure that the rest of the nation knows the positives about Baylor.
Scott, what in the world was your plan to rebuild the program when you walk into something like this?
Well, as you know, us coaches are only as good as our players. So the first thing is you got to bring in players. And obviously, like the Marines, we were looking for a few good men. And more importantly, they couldn't just be good players. They had to be high-character kids because we wanted to make sure that we were building the program the right way, and that's what we've been fortunate enough to attract.
I'm sure when you walk into a living room to recruit somebody, parents ask you about the recent history at Baylor. Parents are afraid, clearly, because there was a murder there. When they ask that of you, what do you tell them?
Well, the great thing is Baylor has such an outstanding reputation nationwide, and especially for the people that are more familiar with Baylor, it doesn't take as long to explain it. It's the oldest school in Texas, and as far as we're the only private school in the Big 12, we have a great academic reputation, great family atmosphere. But the other thing is, I never thought in my wildest dreams the toughest people to talk about Baylor would be the international people that didn't know as much about it because they just heard what was on the internet or what they saw on TV. So actually the people who are familiar with Baylor, it was easy. The people that weren't, it took more explaining.
Well, even once you could do the explaining and once you obviously got the few good men immediately that you needed to play basketball, Scott, but what made you think you could win there? Because the team had only been in the NCAAs like once in the last 58 years. What made you think you could get to this point?
Well, actually, we've been there twice in 58 years, so we're on a roll. But, the great thing is Baylor has a niche. And the niche is, again, we're the only private school in the Big 12, great academic reputation, the largest Baptist school in the nation. And we're geographically, we're close to Dallas, close to Austin, close to Houston, close to San Antonio. And great players want to stay close to home if they can. So we have a lot to sell and a lot of positives to build on. And there's no doubt in my mind we can become an elite team in the nation.
Your dad, Homer Drew, the Valpo coach, has been a college basketball coach his whole adult life. He knows what the good programs are, what the not-so-good programs are. When you said to him, I'm going to Baylor, what did he say to you?
He said, read the book of Job, because he knew it would take time and knew you would have to persevere. But again, my dad went to Valparaiso University, and that was a school that had never had a winning record in Division I history. He went there and was able to win 9 straight conference and/or conference tournament championships and help build an outstanding program. And again, that's what I thought we would be able to do at Baylor University. And we didn't put a timetable on it because no one had been in a situation like that. But again, for people that know about Baylor, there's a lot to offer. And by the way, we're going to have a mayor. The next mayor might be Tony. And with that, we should be able to attract anybody in the country because he said some great words about Baylor University. So right now, he is the man in Waco, Texas.
I'm going to say a great word about you now. I've said on this show that I think you should be the unanimous Coach of the Year for what you've done at Baylor. Would you accept that trophy if you actually got it?
On behalf of you, most definitely. But as far as you know, a coach is only as good as his player and his schools and institution, community. So on behalf of all them, I would definitely accept it.
Scott, we're sitting there watching the selection show on CBS Sunday, and 63 teams, or 64 if you count the play-in teams, they're already announced. There's only one slot left. What are you and your team thinking as you are sitting there watching?
Well, I'm going to just let you know, in the beginning it was relaxation. As it went on, especially toward that last pick, I mean, you couldn't write a better script knowing that you're in now. But at that particular time, I think you saw from the reaction, we by far and away had the best reaction to any team because when you're the last team revealed, you're pretty excited to be in that tournament.
Did you think you were in or out at that moment when you have the drum roll, before they put that name up, before they put Baylor up there? What'd you think, in or out?
Well, all along we thought we were in, but obviously the longer it goes, the more you get concerned. And all those years that I was at Valparaiso and as assistant, we had an automatic bid, but still, if they didn't mention you after a while, you wanted to make sure that you were in. You're like, you remember we have an automatic bid, throw us in there. So being a team that was on the bubble per se, we felt we were in, but again, until you get called and you saw the reaction, I mean, everybody went nuts. We had about 600 fans there to watch, and it was great.
What are your expectations, not just for style and how they may work out, but how far you guys can go? What given your circumstance, is a reasonable and fair expectation?
Well, the great thing is to win in the tournament, you better have good guards, and we are very fortunate to have 5 quality guards. We'd put up our 5 guards with anyone in the country as far as overall depth and level of play. So with them, we can go far. Plus, the other thing you have to have is experience, and you have to have chemistry, and we're fortunate enough to have great team chemistry. The guys really get along, and then we have depth. We've been playing 9, 10 guys for most of the season. So and a lot of people that have been around for 2, 3 years starting. So again, anything can happen. Don't bet against the Bears. That's all I can say.
Thank you for joining us, Scott.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you guys for what you do for sports. You make it great.